bartenders and sales reps, they're thinking about 20,000 brands, right? So there's no way they're going to remember all of these details. I think what we need to do as brand advocates is really think about their audience and what are the 3 key points about your brand that are impactful for them to know as they're presenting it to their audience.
Hey guys, this is Reena Patel, CEO of Bartender Spirits Awards and Beverage Network. We are live in Chicago for the 6th annual Bartender Spirits Awards. I have Reena Patel here with me, one of the great brand ambassadors out there for one of the finest spirits companies that I personally know, and who have won very well in our competitions as well. Especially I think Bartender Spirits Awards, US Spirits Ratings, and I know that this product is very good. So we're talking about a product which doesn't need much of a selling. I know that is an amazing product, but let's hear from her. Reena, thanks for joining me here.
Thanks, Sid. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with, what is your role? Like, what do you do?
So Sid, my role is actually a combination of a brand ambassador role and also sales. We're a unique product. We are a mission-based brand, so we're not one of these products that was out there trying to be a spirits brand. We were founded by a beekeeper about 14 years ago. He just had a surplus of honey, and out there in Vermont, they were like, what should we do with this honey? Wow. So we kind of became an organically produced spirit, and so we make a vodka and 2 gins, and the second gin is a barrel-aged gin. As you know, craft gin is a very highly competitive category in the spirit space, very challenging. But for us, we're very lucky. We have this beautiful, compelling story, origin story, and we are in a space right now where consumers are more concerned with sustainability, consumers and bartenders. And we're really, really leaning into that and championing how the bar community can be more sustainable in their operations as well. And that's kind of been a winning strategy for us in the marketplace.
Got it. So on your role, as far as the business deliverables or outcome goes, right? Like there must be a key performance indicator or something that your manager or boss expects from you to build the business around. So is it number of accounts to say hello? Is it open 4 accounts a week, or they need to have 8 programs? So give me a little bit of specifics on what exactly are you trying to achieve with your brand?
Sure, it's a little bit of a combination. So obviously without depletions, we can't have a brand. So selling is very important, and we do need to grow the business. But we recognize that in the craft spirits category, selling is a little bit different. We really do need to get out there on the ground and engage with our extended team out there in the field, our bartenders, our mixologists that are talking to consumers every day. As a small independent craft brand, we don't have the resources that larger brands have to leverage, where they have these massive marketing budgets and they can do gigantic advertising campaigns and whatnot. We really need to lean into those one-on-one personal relationships and get the brand out there and educate the secondary brand ambassadors, if you will.
Which is the bartenders?
Which is the bartenders and the bar community, about the brand and about what we're trying to accomplish. And it absolutely helps that the juice is good. So, when we get in front of bartenders and we let them taste it, they're automatically intrigued. And then I can come in and follow up and talk to them about the importance of being a sustainable brand and how we can do better for the environment and still drink delicious beverages and share those with the consumers at large.
So I'll give you 3 or 4 case scenarios. Maybe you can, would love to pick your brains on how you approach that. So let's say, your product is placed now, the initial round is done and it's just in the menu. And now you're trying to have the bartender actually make a cocktail and put your drink in a cocktail placement or have a table 10. How would you go about asking for that business?
So I love to just champion the quality and the mission behind the brand and let the bartenders make their own choice. I find that when they are choosing to work with your product, it takes a lot less selling, and it's the stickiness factor. They'll continue selling it long after you've walked out of their space if they're choosing. And the way I get them to do that—
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Because then you're not bartender's pick, it's a bar's business design pick.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so then once I leave, they're still championing. And the way I do that, I walk into the bar and I sit down casually and I spend time there. You know, I get to know their menus, I get to know their customers. How are they interacting with those people that are walking up to the bar? And then I, like, whatever bartenders are bartending, I just say, hey, what do you like to make? This is the spirit. Here are the qualities about the spirit. Have fun, make me something, right? And I let them experiment and I let them come up and create the cocktails and get creative. And now they have ownership in what they've developed. And half the times I'm surprised and like delighted, like, wow, this is amazing. What did you just do, right? And it's really great, especially in this climate after the pandemic where this newer crop of bartenders really hasn't had that much time to get to play with new products and experiment. It's great for me to be able to go in. I have 20 plus years of experience behind the bar, so I can make suggestions.
Oh, you yourself were a bartender?
I
before?
was for a long time. So I can make suggestions and whatnot when I see their back bar.
How much do you think that helps in a role of a brand ambassador when you're speaking with bartenders?
Well, I think it makes all the difference, right? Because you understand.
They start respecting you.
Well, absolutely. You build credibility that way, but you also understand their challenges. You understand the problems that they're faced with every day. You're not going to sit there and say, I need you to put this cocktail on the menu, because you know it won't work with their programming and with their budgets and whatever they need for margins. You can go in there and work as a partner with them to say, hey, I know you need a program that can deliver this at the end of the month.
Yep.
I know how we can work with our product to make that happen for you, and I know we can fill these gaps in your menu to make a well-rounded program for you and for me, so it's mutually beneficial.
Got it. One last question for, I think other vodka brands that maybe they can learn from, and it's good that you're a category, one of the leaders, helping to still keep the vodka lovers out there. But it's a tough category, as you say. We're losing traction. It's just been stagnant there. How can other vodka brands sort of try to build that end consumer around vodka again?
Yeah. So for us, vodka is not our main focus. It is gin.
Or
But for
gin.
our vodka,
Even gin, the same question. I think
Right.
it's still a tough and hard these days.
gin is definitely challenging, to say the least. I think, and as today, I'm sure you noticed all of the gins we've been tasting. There's just more and more proliferation in that category, and I think the thing that's going to make certain brands stand out is having a solid. We always talk about selling and like you need to tell your story, and I think that one place where people go wrong is they go into a bar or even their sales reps at the distributor and they're trying to tell them every little thing about their brand, whereas like bartenders and sales reps, they're thinking about 20,000 brands, right? So there's no way they're going to remember all of these details. I think what we need to do as brand advocates is really think about their audience and what are the 3 key points about your brand that are impactful for them to know as they're presenting it to their audience. And if you can get those 3 things down in a simple way and bring them home with like tactile things. There's the other thing is like, presentations with bullet points and all that stuff. It's very hard when you've got 1,000 people throwing paper at you with all this information. I like to go in, like we use raw honey in all of our products. I like to go in with some of that honey because people remember what they taste, they touch, they smell, and they see, right? Like all of that together, they'll remember that story. So I think it's really important to set your brand apart with those, for bartenders, surprise and delight and that kind of thing, like that's important for your customers. It's important for us too. We need to go in there and surprise and delight our customers, our bartenders, and our sales reps. And I think that as long as we stay fresh and inspired and motivated it's still hospitality, right? So as long as we go in there with that fresh attitude and that perspective on the products that we're representing, that enthusiasm will always be contagious.